Welcome to the Kawartha Small Business Podcast, where we believe that Kawarthas can be the most thriving region in Canada for small business. I'm Brian Rump from Profit Coach.
And I'm Matt Garrity of Matty G Digital.
All right, Matt, today we are going to make lots of friends, and we are digging into something we talk about often. And I know a lot of people disagree with us, and that is I hear video is good. So tell me why video is the answer to all of my marketing dreams.
I have no idea. And that's why we're talking about this. And I don't think I disagree with people. I think when people say or marketers say video, I hear video is good. I agree. It is a good marketing tactic. It's a great marketing tactic. But me and you use it as a punchline all the time when we're joking about other people's marketing, basically. There's a lot more to it. It's not just as simple as calling someone up and being, hey, I don't do any marketing. I hear video is good, and starting from there. That's where I think I roll my eyes. First out of the
I
gate.
think just to pick apart what you said there was one key word, which is video is a tactic, one of many tactics. And I think where the frustration comes is video is kind of cool. I think it goes back to people's childhood where it's like, hey, mom, look, I'm on TV. So it's like they want to jump into like that cool video type of thing. But it's one of many tactics, and they'll try to like use video as the tactic.
Yeah, it's like the only thing they have going on. I think it makes sense, like the video of or kids watching cartoons or watching home videos when you were a kid or something like that. I was thinking the same thing about it's real. Video is hashtag authentic. People can watch a video. They think it's how you would actually act in real life. Video is easy to digest, if that's the way to put it. People will watch a video versus reading. Like, I don't like reading anything. I'm not reading an article that's going to be more than 12 seconds. I am stereotypical headline reader.
Yeah.
I don't even like watching videos sometimes. Like 2 minutes for a video, I don't have time for that. I don't care that much. Get to the point. Tell me the headline. So I think people do like video because it's just an easy way to digest content and information.
Yeah, I think a couple things there that's neat is what's in the video, how long is it useful? And I think there's people don't always go beyond the I hear videos good. So it's like, oh, I need some videos. So they start making videos and they're making stuff up. There's no strategy attached to it.
Yes.
It doesn't reinforce the messaging strategy of their business. It doesn't lead anyone anywhere. Um, it's just a video. And sometimes it's like, oh, that's great, nice video. But like, what compels people to watch it? And then how is it marketing?
Yeah, and I think people believe that video is a great hack and that they can do it cheaply, they can do it themselves, they can talk and talk and talk, and it's easy to do. To me, as a marketer, and I'm biased, but I think I'm a good marketer. I think I'm an expert marketer. I've had some success at doing this stuff. I think creating video content is way more difficult than creating image content. You require so much more experience to put it together, to record the video, to make it look good. Even if you want it to just look hashtag authentic and open up your camera phone and start talking into that, it's very challenging to talk on camera. I'm speaking personally, and I know from other people's experience as well. It's something that you can just very easily freeze on. I think talking on a podcast is a heck of a lot easier because you're kind of hidden. You don't need to show your face. I've never been good on video. I just kind of fumble. And I think it's extremely challenging for a lot of people. And I don't think it's very easy to put together. I don't think it's very easy to do. I think it's actually much harder to do.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I mean, for me, video is really hard. I don't really know how to edit videos. Like I didn't just in terms of the current technology. When I sort of grew up and was doing video editing, it was like with videotapes, and I wasn't good at it. And So it takes more time. Not You're right. Not everyone's a natural in front of the camera. Um, and when you're putting in that level of effort, I think people forget like the opportunity cost of doing that. It's a huge amount of effort if you think you're hacking it and doing it yourself. And then again, is it going to be better than other types of marketing?
Yeah.
I do agree that video can help um, feed your sales funnel. It can help do some things that reading or images can't, but it's not like the first thing I think anyone should do.
Right. So like just I always think right away of how do we execute this? What are the processes for this? Whether that's me as a marketer, me as a person, me as a quote agency owner. So like I had two conversations last week with people about video. And the second one was a bit more they had a light bulb go off, I think, where I was like, yeah, well, we can do some video stuff. I can send you a list every month of what I want you to talk about. And then like, well, are you going to send me a script for those things to talk about? So now, just thinking again about execution, process, and now you're working with a marketer, you're going to have to pay that person or someone's got to come up with what are you going to talk about? That's not even the script. That's just high level. What should this video be about?
Yeah.
Then someone's got to write a script for it. Then someone's got to videotape it. So whether that's you on your phone or you send in a professional with a camera, then I'm sure as heck that that's not going to be perfect and that you're going to have to edit it. At least going to edit the beginning and you're going to edit the end to make sure there's not large gaps of you fiddling around with it. Then it's probably going to have to be reviewed. Then who knows if you even liked the video or did you perform well on that video? How many times are you going to have to do that video over and over and over again? That's your time editing it. Then you're going to post it. Then you're going to do all those things. And then will it be any better than a static image? Honestly, probably not, to be completely honest, from my experience with this stuff. It might get more views, like video views specifically, but from a core metrics perspective, it's not going to be much better. It's not going to be worth the resources for you. And then also, like, we're still talking in numbers perspective. You're going to turn around and say, well, this one got more likes. I'm like, well, what did it do for your business? Did this create more awareness than the image? No, it didn't. It created the exact same amount of awareness. Did it create more sales for your business? I bet you don't have the metrics in place and the systems in place to actually track that. So this was all for naught. So again, I had these like two conversations last week where like some of the light bulbs are going off. Where again, it was, well, are you going to tell me what to say in the video? Like I can tell you what to say till the cows come home. Are you going to pay for it though? And I'm talking now again as the guy that's trying to charge you, but that also goes for people internally too. So like that's their own resources. Okay, I want to do video. I got to write a script. Now that's going to take away from I'm really good at sales. I'm really good on the counter. I'm really good on the sales floor. That takes away from that. And then you have
Yeah.
to execute it. And like that stuff still costs you money. And for what? What are you willing to compromise for?
Yeah. Like, what's it going to? I love, lots of things you broke down there. I think I'm going to throw out some numbers now. These aren't necessarily your numbers, but one of the things I've learned, and of course, we're going to find a way to link this podcast to talk about Story Brand, as people may or may not know, but I will remind I'm a certified Story Brand guide. In the guide community, there are people who specialize in video. They make a lot of money and they charge a lot of money because they make really good videos. You talked about like things like the script. People take for granted that stuff looks quote unquote authentic. Often the influencers you see who seem so authentic and off the cuff, every word they say is intentional. It also just isn't always them with their cell phone, like and nothing else around them, like looking authentic. If you ever see pictures of it being filmed, there's like lights everywhere and there's like a producer standing there, like helping them through. And all of those things do cost money. So if I'm a small business, I can go online to Starting Point Digital Marketing and I can get some really awesome, potentially simple social media for what, like $400 a month.
$395 a month plus HST will include your strategy, will include writing the post, will include creating the images, will include scheduling them, and then providing numbers for you.
Yeah, that's insanely cheap for getting started. You want higher level of post writing strategy. That's, Matty G Digital. And I actually have no idea what you'd charge, but my guess would be, 800 to 1200 a month gets you pretty good intentional, higher level of that. You want to now script in a video, like that's like, a social media post on crack. You're looking at least a couple thousand a month or more, depending how many of those posts you want videos that are sort of well scripted.
I bet you it's $2,000 a month. I'm just trying to think of, I don't know if they want me mentioning their name, but someone locally that does video production. He's exceptional at it. And talking to him about like what they charge for a half day and a full day of filming, be like, even if for a whole month of video, or even if you want to do one video a week, that's half a day of filming. That's going to be almost $1,000, including editing and everything. That's not including. I honestly think that's going to be a video a week because I think you would need a full day or more for if you're going to do regular, just pure video posts. Anyways, like by the time you factor in, like that's just the video. That's not what did we want to talk about? What did we want to script? When did we want to put in the description? Who's scheduling these things? All these things take time and resources. I'm going to say resources and not money because resources could be you're paying someone. Well, you're always going to pay someone. It's either you're going to pay someone externally, you're going to pay someone internally, or you're going to pay for it doing yourself. Whether that's emotional, mental trauma, that's aggressive, or it's just like it's taking away from other stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And I think, from a pricing standpoint, the number I used to hear, and I think it's come down just with equipment and stuff, was $1,000 a minute. And that's for really good quality, more small business type stuff. You get into better, more professional, it's going to be more. The other thing I wanted to zero in on reminds me of, some of my early website discoveries, which is people will design you a website, but then they'll be like, oh, did you want words on that website? Well, that's totally different. Like it took me a long time in life to learn what copywriters were, that they were different. So that's the exact same with video. You do not want the person who is recording your video and editing it to be creating the words in the script for that. They will let you say whatever you want. They will make it look good. But, this goes back to, story brand and having a messaging strategy or a script that is, tight and direct, like intentional to do something with that video. And again, that takes resources because someone has to write that. Someone has to dig out from you what the purpose of that video is. And if it is done really well, it looks super easy.
Yeah. I hate this term, but I'll use it. Like you need a unicorn. You need someone that can, and it doesn't exist, but you need someone that knows how to create a video, knows how to write script, knows how to then do social media. I will say, not to just pump my own tires now, but like this is why you need a marketer. Someone that kind of understands all the facets. They don't need to know how to do all of them or be great at all of them, but they need to understand how all these things will kind of come together. Yeah. I have a wicked story for you that I didn't tell you about from last week. So like, I've never known a designer to think about anything other than does a website look pretty. They'll tell you all the time about optimization and user experience. I have never, ever, ever experienced it. All they ever care about is, does this website look pretty? It's the same with social media people. They think about, does this post work? Do I like this description? Do I like these images? Same with videographers. I think a marketer is a bit more rounded where they kind of understand all these things. So I was talking to this construction company. They did excavation and landscape design. I showed you their logo a couple weeks ago. It was really cool. So they were talking to me about getting found on Google and talking to me about SEO. And I do my couple quick looks and I can tell right away what needs to be changed. Like title tags are useless, H1 tags are useless, right? So I'm like, this is great. This is a layup. Like, yeah, for whatever reason, like we're not ranking. And like we just redid this website. And like it looked really nice. It was very pretty. And then as I'm putting together my presentation to pitch them the SEO stuff, they have entire blocks and sections of their website are all images. So all the copy, all the words on there are just images. Google can't read a word on it. So like Google seeing this website, there's nothing on it to them. So all the keywords, like you can't actually read a single word of them. And at that point, I was like, this is like beyond a layup. This is a slam dunk. And I felt really bad, but at the same time, I was super thankful that I found like a massive error. And the guy was like, I will tie all this together. The guy was like, what are you talking about? Like I spent thousands of dollars on this website. What do you mean like Google can't crawl it? And I'm like, the web designer didn't do anything wrong. The web designer was there to create a beautiful website for you. They don't always think about SEO. They're not, this person wasn't thinking about SEO. They had no idea what they were doing. So like that's the power of working with someone that kind of somewhat understands a little bit about everything to make sure all these things are in line. Someone that's not laser focused on, does the website look pretty? Does this video work? Does my social media work? Like you need someone that kind of understands a little bit everything.
Oh yeah, I love that story, and I love that. It reminds me of one of my favorite all-time classic movies is Saving Silverman, which I know you haven't watched, and I almost sent you this clip. It came up on TikTok or something, but the guys are big Neil Diamond fans, and they're showing their shrine to Neil, to like this the sort of the villain of the story, which is their friend's new girlfriend. And he's like, this is the set list from Neil Diamond's Millennium concert. And she looks at it, and it's obviously like an old timey photocopy when it was like from like a fax machine. She's like, looks like a Xerox. And he was like, no, I paid a lot of money for that, which is like my website can't be bad. I paid a lot of money for it, but
Yeah.
That's the one where, oh, it looks beautiful, but Google can't read the words, right? So it's thinking about those things, and it's like a video. What are the words you're saying? So you mentioned earlier, you're not a huge reader. I know I'm trying to change that a bit, but people only do things because they hear or read words that make them want to do things. So for you have to hear those words. So if you are going to have a video, you need to make sure those words are good. And that's not easy to do. I think there's some hacks. If you have a really good messaging strategy and you're really good at sort of repeating your key messages, then maybe you have the skill to do that. If not, you have to make sure that you're getting good words. And in the StoryBrand community, there are people who only do scripts for videos. Like they've specialized because they've broken down, what works, what's good in videos. And they, charge like probably $1,000 or $2,000 a minute for the copywriting part of it. So like, if you really want that awesome video, there's going to be a cost to it.
Yeah, it was the Chambers, I think a couple different chambers months ago, like 6 months ago, they put out that tender for that Loving It Local campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a bunch of line items about all this marketing stuff. And then it was like a radio script. And that's the part I was like, I have no idea. I just was like, what did my lunch cost times that by 800? I have no clue. And I think we can criticize that tender all you want. That happens with those type of institutions. They put out tenders, but I think, and for me, it was like, how am I supposed to do that? Price that, and I have no experience doing it. I think I at least understood the complexity and challenge I would be up. Like, I don't know how to write a radio ad. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, no problem. It takes like 10 minutes. It's 90-second spot. No, man, that was going to take hours. That was going to take 4 to 6 hours to write, probably.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing to that is you can write an ad that sounds cool, but like again, what's the point of it? Is it to get someone to do something? You can write something that entertains people, but do they then know what your brand is and recognize it? Is it purely an awareness thing? Do you want them to then go to like a website or do something? Like that's a different type of ad. And I think this is sort of like any content, and why I think, every owner and marketer need to get together and like have a strategy that fits the business. And again, that's the kind of the power of Story Brand. But when you just turn it over to the creatives, they'll just make something up and make it sound good. Nice. But like, does it actually feed the core of your business and what you want to do? One of the best hacks of this is simply, the Story Brand script. So if you go to a Story Brand workshop, part of that is creating your brand script. And one of my favorite commercials is ones they show actually through there. They have a few businesses who are essentially just reading off the brand messaging they make to a video. And it's like a really, really good video. But, it's still, they invested in the messaging. They spent, time and money doing that. They can use that messaging everywhere. But it's not off the cuff. It, is a lot of time and energy. It's very intentional. And they had a great videographer who was able to like bring those words to life with what they were showing in the background.
Yeah, and you've said intentional a bunch. And like, why are people so against that? Why are people obsessed with the authenticity of social media? How did that become a thing? Why did that become a thing? What does authenticity do? Like, what does being fun on social media do?
I think it entertains people. I think it lets
We're
people know
businesses, though. We're
there.
not here to entertain, unless we're an
Yeah, and
entertainment businesses.
that's the difference, right? The people who are preaching that authenticity, their brand is that. They want a big audience so that when they're, and then they have like a million streams of revenue, right? So it's like, hey, 5 million people are watching my chat about authenticity. Well, guess what? The shirt I'm wearing is not authentic. I didn't go to my closet and pick something out today. Like someone paid me 10 grand to put it on, right? And that's their brand. That's their hustle of what they're doing. And they're encouraging you to try to sort of do the same. But if you're a small business, the number one thing you need is sales. And people hesitate to directly sell, I think, because they're not confident that they solve a problem that people want. But if you can solve a problem that people have and want solved, like you have an obligation to talk about that problem, position yourself as that guide that can solve that problem, and call them to action to like buy that. And that's what your marketing should be used for, not, trying to grow your personal brand or just entertain people.
Yeah, and the conversation that's coming up a bit more is TikTok. People are like, oh, TikTok's really cool. Can we utilize this for the business? Like, yeah, sure.
I love TikTok.
It's fun. It's a blast. I saw one today that made me laugh very hard, and my kids watched it too. It was, I should send it to you later, but this guy had what looked like his window of his car, and then he smashed his window through the side of the car, but just like a sheet of ice because it was the winter, and it was really funny. Anyways, TikTok's hilarious, but now people are seeing, well, this is authentic. This is fun. How can I utilize this for my business? Yo, honestly, TikTok is not authentic. TikTok is reactive. It's reactionary. We see these trends that come up and people are like, oh, shoot, we need to react and we need to do the exact same thing. And you saw that over the holidays, just trying to like time us here, which would be the Christmas holiday 2021. That one where people are doing like the head bob and every single TikTok, and like people are scrambling and falling all over themselves to do that, or making the CDC advises type of jokes. That's not authentic either. It's reactive. So why are we talking about this?
Yeah, I'll sort of disagree with you in that I think it can be a really good tool, but it's not automatic, and it's not a, oh, just get a fire up a TikTok and do the trends. It's people who have some of the other things in place. So specifically, I'll shout out Cake by the Lake and Bob Cajun has TikTok, and I know they have a lot of views, but they have a great consistent brand.
Yes.
You see their brand, you walk in there, it's clear who they are, and they've created some really good videos of what they do that make you want to buy that cheesecake. So I don't know exactly how their TikTok is translated into sales, but I do remember the TikTok once of a crazy lineup outside in like social distance times. So like that's awesome. That's feeding your sales. The other one is Tastely Box, which is in Apsley, another Kawartha. They've blown up on TikTok. They anger me because I've tried to buy stuff from them, but they're always sold out because they recharge their website. They sell out almost immediately. Their TikTok is so good, and part of it's their personality. They've invested in the resources of talking about what they solve, and they've created a business around it. So it's their, they're in Apsley. They're not getting foot traffic very much. So they've used it as a specific tool that works for them, and they're doing it right. That's really, they make it look so easy, but it's not easy at all.
No, we were agreeing, by the way. Like, I do think TikTok is a good tool. I just think that people think it is the way to be authentic, and I don't think it is. I think it's reacting. It's funny that you bring Cake by the Lake up. Do you know the woman's name?
Yeah.
Think
Amanda.
about it for a second. I swear to you, I saw an image. It was this morning, and I was just looking at it, and like this woman or whoever she's working with as the marketer, her daughter does her name, right? Yeah,
and I forget her name.
It's so good. The image itself, like I just looked at the back detail at the time, and the cabinets are all pink, like this beautiful pink, which is in line with the pink clothing that she's wearing. Like their branding is so tight. That's how you make brand awareness and authenticity work, is when you have that consistent branding and attention to detail. Like the hat's the same color, the shirt's the same color, the cabinets in the back, like they get it. They understand branding, and they understand how to utilize these tools. Most of the people that are going to be shouting from the rooftop that you need authentic marketing and we're going to go on TikTok, they're going to be in their basement wearing a t-shirt. They're going to be out on the street wearing a suit the next day. They're not going to have any sort of consistency. They're not going to be talking about their brand. The Cake by the Lake people, I don't think I've seen their TikTok stuff, because you and my wife send me TikTok videos all the time, and that's the only time I see them. But like I've seen Cake by the Lake stuff all the time, and their branding and their videos are always so good, because even these videos and these pictures that they're using, and they look authentic, and all of them, there's a picture here of like their whole family, it looks like. They're all like the same type of clothing, beautiful, in front of a beautiful home, beautiful clothing. They get it. They understand what they're doing. They're talking about their product in almost every post as well.
And that was probably very intentional too, right?
Yeah, it was intentional.
It wasn't like, oh, look what we just all happen to be wearing stuff that suits and matches. Like they're design oriented personalities.
Yeah. Like I'm going through their feed this whole time here. The only time you're seeing colors other than their brand is when they're showing these delicious cheesecakes. But like,
which are amazing, by the way.
We talked about that on other podcasts, how good those cheesecakes are. So like, they get it. Amanda, her name is Amanda, by the way. I found her name.
I said that. I used to exercise with Amanda. So.
Oh, gotcha. She's taken
So I
quite a
know
turn between exercising and now opening Cake by the Lake, these cheesecakes that are unreal.
they're the perfect bite though. Like it's again, I could go on a whole other episode about those cheesecakes, but you don't need to eat a half a cheesecake. You can have 2 bites of it and fully satisfied. So if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
trying to cut down on your calories, just eat 2 bites of amazing cheesecake instead of a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Yeah. I've only ever had the minis, but I find every time, like, I'll just cut it in half and I'll eat one half. And I find like a quarter of the way through, a third of the way through, I'm like, I don't think my taste buds can take any more. I'm like, this is
yeah,
perfect. I don't need any more. It's brilliant. I'm not even like a huge lover of cheesecake, but these cheesecakes are. Anytime I see them, usually I'll put fresh fuel. I'm like, oh, I'm picking one of these up.
which is awesome. All right, have we exhausted our topic of video?
I don't think we got into stuff about foundational marketing first. I kind of breezed over that, but yes, I will leave this conversation if we need to.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up. If people want to talk to us more about video, want us to prove some of our theories. I do think a foundational strategy using video as a tool is good. But if you're jumping into video or like video production costs when you're not doing those other things, it's probably not going to work and you're going to be um, disappointed. So, you want us to help you out with that, help you out with your foundational marketing, help get you on the right page. We'd love to help you start, recharge, or grow your business at kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca. Or if you just want the email, set it up at kawarthasmallbusinesspodcast.ca.